What's up, everyone? This is the final week in this Superstar Leadership Training Group. I'm Danielle Natoni, aka Fit and Funky, and I'll give everyone just a minute or two to jump on before I start with today's topic. I gotta say, it's a lot of pressure to go last. I mean, when you are in a group with Barbie, Christina, Saudi, and Becky, and then you have to follow that up, meanwhile it's like a Latina party and then the white girl comes in at the close. But anyway, hope you guys are having a great day. What's up, Debbie? What's up, Barbie? What's up, Letty? I'll give you guys just a minute or two. Barbie, thank you. It's a party up top, or wait, other way. It's business up top, party on the bottom. I totally still have on tiny little workout booty shorts. And I let my hair air dry after my run this morning, dry shampooed it and curled it really quick in attempts to not look like a complete mess for this video. Because if you guys know me, hair's always on top of my head, no makeup on. So I literally was like, maybe I should try to put my life together. So my mom actually took the girls to lunch so that you wouldn't hear fighting. 15 and 10, they love to fight. So really cleared out the house for you guys. You guys are so sweet. I must always look like crap. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm really excited about this call. When I was really thinking about, okay, what hasn't, not that it hasn't been covered, but what could I do to add value differently than what these amazing ladies offered before me? I started to think about leadership as a whole, and I started to think about who I was when I started Beachbody and who I am now, and honestly where I'm going, because if we're being completely honest, I've only just begun. I've really just started. I have so much left in me. So I started to think about how I would pretend. I would pretend life was perfect. I would pretend my life was perfect. I would pretend I was an amazing leader. And that wouldn't translate into everything else I was doing. And you can't fake it till you make it with leadership. Leadership has to be authentic and real and raw. So when I started to think about that, what I really wanted to discuss with you is today's topic, which is leadership beyond coaching, the next level. You're technically a leader. You are a diamond or a star diamond, which means that you were able to, gather some forces and get people to join you in our mission to help people live healthy, fulfilling lives, right? You are a leader. People are following you. You've got a team. Your team is growing. You might be just a new diamond. You might be an elite, diamond on your path to superstar. But you're a leader. People are following you. But what's next? What's beyond that? Because let's be honest, as much as I love Beachbody, I am not Beachbody. Beachbody is not my entire life. There is so much more to life than just Beachbody. And so if you let your leadership skills stop with only coaching, then you're really limiting yourself pretty far. So I want to talk to you about 4 areas today. Number 1, I want to talk to you about leadership within your community. I want to talk to you about, number 2, leadership within your family. Number 3, I want to talk to you about leadership on social media. And then number 4, I want to talk to you about leadership when nobody else is watching. And the reason that I want to cover these 4 areas is because if you are a leader throughout all 4 of those things, then leadership with Beachbody is going to be no cake for you, because it's going to be ingrained in you. You being a leader will be no different than you taking a shower, or you brushing your teeth, or you doing any of those tasks that you do on a daily basis. I want leadership to be so natural to you that it's just part of who you are. I mean, think of some of the great leaders that you follow with personal development. Darren Hardy and Tony Robbins and, Brian Tracy and all these people. Do you think that they're only leaders when they're teaching to you? Do you think they go home and they just throw down their pen and they're like, screw it. I'm just not into it. Do you think that, they don't lead their family with, conviction? Do you think that they're not seen as a leader in their community? Of course they are, because leadership extends beyond just what your craft is, just beyond what your business is. So today we're going to talk about leadership beyond Beachbody, Because when you're a leader in all those other areas, then your leadership skills within coaching are gonna grow. And I know that because, listen, I'm not a perfect leader. I have my people, I see some of my coaches on the call, and so I'm sure they would tell you I'm not a perfect leader. And I've gone through many changes and I'm still constantly growing. But the one thing that I do know is that if I'm a leader in all those other areas that I just spoke to you about, then I'm a better leader for them, and it comes natural and it doesn't feel forced. Leadership is not about fancy graphics. Leadership is not about how many groups you put people into. Leadership is not about spreadsheets. It's not about giving away prizes. It's not about any of that. Some of the best leaders do so just with their voice and just with their heart. And all the rest is just fancy bells and whistles that other people throw in to show or to make them feel like they're doing more leadership type things, okay? So let's start with the first one, leadership in your community. Now, depending on where you live, that can look like different things. And depending on, where you're at in your life, that could look like different things. But you need to be known as a leader in your community, because not only are we spreading, health and wellness through social media and all our, Flex Friday selfies, but you should be known in your town as the healthy person. Like when you walk into the grocery store, they're like, oh, here she is again. Or when you walk into your kid's school, you walk in with like this presence where they're like, great, can you volunteer? Can you help with the PTA, etc. You need to be a leader within your community. I always giggle when I go somewhere and I see somebody with a Beachbody shirt on in my town and I don't know who they are. I'm like, excuse me, like you live in my town, you're a coach and you're not on my team. But I don't care because it's all Team Beachbody. But I do want to be known as the go-to in my town. I want to be known as the fit person. I want to walk into my grocery store and have the person in front of me being a complete butt to the cashier. And I want to walk up to the cashier next and go, I'm sorry that person treated you that way. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here. Have you ever stopped and taken the time to actually put your phone down and talk to the person checking you out at the grocery store or at Target or at the gas station? One of the things that I love about my husband, I love so many things about him, but he's so great about that. What's the worst job you can think of? Probably telemarketing or being on a phone operator for any kind of thing. And what I love is any company he calls into, the person will say, hey, thanks for calling so-and-so, this is Jane. And my husband will say, hey, Jane, how are you? How's your day going today? And you should hear the surprise in their voice when they're like, oh my God, he just asked me how my day is. So you guys, this translates into everything that we do. You need to be that person who is friendly wherever you go. And you need to be that person that smiles to more people. And you need to be that person that says hello more frequently. You need to be that person who puts down the device and looks people in the eyes when you're talking to them. That's leadership. And that's leadership within your community. You don't have to be on the PTA, and you don't have to be a member of your homeowners association, and you don't even have to be, an active member of your church. But you do have to be a leader in your community. And that means that you're not flicking people off when you're driving. And that means that you are, presenting yourself wherever you are and representing yourself in the best light always. That's what leaders do. Leaders are always conscious of who's watching and of how they're presenting themselves. Because what I would hate is to present myself in a negative light and then somebody not want to join our team because they happen to be there in that one split second moment when I wasn't being my very best self. So, laugh out loud, I'm flicking people off, right? I use this example when I do my instructor trainings, is that when you're an instructor, class doesn't start when you press play on the music. And it doesn't even start when you walk into the group exercise room. And it doesn't even start when you pull into the parking lot. It starts the absolute minute you get into your car, pull out of the driveway, and start driving to the gym. Because you will never ever know who's watching, who will see you, and especially if you're me and you have vanity license plates that say fit and funky. Could you imagine if I was a complete ass on the road with road rage? Like, it just wouldn't work, and that's not what leaders do. So does that mean you can't ever have a bad day? Of course, I have bad days all the time. Does that mean you have to pretend to be somebody that you're not? No. But it means that within your community, you should be somebody that people look to as a resource for health and fitness. You should be somebody that people look at and think, man, I want to be just like that person. Or how does it seem like they're always so put together? And when I say put together, I don't mean with hair and makeup. I just mean that, like, you've got your life together. You stand with tall posture, your shoulders are back, and you have pride in everything that you do. You take pride in, if you see trash on the ground, you pick it up and you throw it away, because that's your community. That's your neighborhood. You don't want trash on the ground in your neighborhood, right? So I really want you to think about that. Think about that right now. Are you a leader within your community? Are you looked at in your neighborhood, in your community, as a resource for health and fitness, as somebody that people can look to and turn to and think, that's a leader. I don't know what she does. I don't know what industry she's in, but I want to be like that. So I encourage you, either during this call or after, is to write down 3 things that you could do better or differently to be seen as a leader in your community. And you guys, it could be small. It could be joining your kids' PTA. It could be picking up trash whenever you see it. It could be putting down your phone and saying hello to any person at the checkout stand every time you go into Target. These little simple things, those leadership qualities transfer over into your coaching business. Because don't you want to be the leader at Summit who, no matter who stops you, you take a moment and pause and introduce yourself to them and actually talk to them and make eye contact with them? Don't you want to be that leader that, doesn't settle for less, that wants to be seen as a standout within our own community, within our Beachbody community? I bet you right now you could think of people who within Beachbody that are like your ideal leadership mentors. And I guarantee you it has very little to do with what their body looks like or anything else like that. I know I have a list of people in my head, and it's all about the way they present themselves. And I guarantee that those people are leaders within their community, and then that just happens to translate over into Beachbody. Okay, let's move into the next area. So don't forget, you're gonna come up with 3 things that you could do differently, and you can share those in the group after this video. And I will actually post a call to action when we're done. How am I doing on time? Okay, great, because I have another call at 1. So, okay, next is leadership within your family. You guys, whether you're a mom or a dad or a wife or a husband, you're something, even if you're none of those. You could be a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You might be a pet owner. You might just be a daughter or a sister or a brother. You are somebody to somebody. You're somebody to somebody. You need to be a leader in your family, right? Like, you can't expect for people to follow you if you are not exerting these same skills that you're learning within your own family. So here's the thing, we do personal development nonstop all the time, right? We're learning all these amazing skills to be a good leader. What if you actually tried that within your own family structure, right? So one of the things we learn in personal development and through good leadership is to be an active listener. Are you an active listener within your own family? Do you set down your devices and actually have an uninterrupted discussion time with your family? Do you put down your devices and sit at the dinner table and have a meal together and go around and talk about things that happen in everyone's day and discuss world topics and things that are prevalent and going on? Because this is important too. Leadership skills within your family translate to leadership skills within your community, which translate into leadership skills within your coaching business. You guys, the best place for you to practice all the things that you learn about leadership is right within your own home. all the things that you learn. If you have children, dude, they're like your perfect guinea pigs for figuring out whether or not your leadership skills are where they need to be at, or if you need to up them. And you guys, I'm one to say that I'm always needing to practice my leadership skills within my own family, right? Patience. My father is a great example of that. Man, I love that man, but he drives me batshit crazy. He does. He drives me absolutely crazy. And I have to really practice amazing leadership skills with this man because I love him, but he's also in my business. He's a coach and he has questions. And so I really have to test my own leadership within that family structure, because if he asks me a question, do I jump down his throat immediately, or do I know how to take a breath and answer him? Because he deserves an answer just like anyone else. And so the best place that you can practice all the things that you are learning about being a leader starts within your own family. And you guys, you're building this business not for you. I imagine you're building it for a bigger purpose. And so if you build this business and you take all your leadership skills and put it just into Beachbody and you forget about your family, guess what you're left with? An amazing business and nobody to celebrate it with. So you absolutely need to practice those leadership skills within your family, because that's where it starts. They're the people who are your number one cheerleader no matter what. But by that same token, did I use that right? We used to have a thing on the refrigerator. I used to say that phrase wrong all the time. So Darren actually put it up on the fridge to make sure I said it right. By the same token. I think that's correct. I'll have to ask him later. Anyway, I digress. Your family. You need to be a leader within your own family. And part of leadership is shared responsibility. And so think about that. Do you have shared responsibility within your family? Like, is it kind of give and take, or are you always keeping score? Because you can't keep score. And you'll find that out with your coaches, right? Oh, I am just sick and tired of, doing all these calls for my coaches and they're just not hitting Success Club. Keeping score. Oh, I do all these graphics and I put all these things together and I just swear my coaches don't want it as much as I do. Keeping score. Dude, you can't keep score. Do you do that in your house? Oh, well, I did the laundry 3 times this month and the kids only did it once. So, no summer vacation for them. Keeping score. Doesn't work that way. So practice your leadership skills within your family. Because again, if you're a good leader at home, you'll be a great leader in your community, and you'll be an even better leader within your business. Okay, here we go. Next one. And this one is going to be hard for some of you, and I get it. Leadership on social media. Whether you like it or not, as you build this business, social media is the #1 way to do it, and your social no longer belongs to you. It doesn't. It belongs to your brand, and that brand that you want to promote, and that brand that you're putting out there, and that brand that you're hoping is attracting others to join your tribe. Your social media is not about you. And while you'll share things about your kids and your dog and your love for pizza, it's not about you. And maybe Kanye West and Taylor Swift drive you nuts, but it's not about them. And maybe, just maybe, you really, really, really have a strong opinion on that whole presidential thing that's going on. But you know what? It's not about that. It's about your brand and who you want to attract and who is watching you. So, am I saying you can't have an opinion on social media? No, I'm not. But I'm saying that you cannot be quick on the draw. Right? You cannot be so quick to read a response or see a post and start typing. And one of the best things that I have done in my leadership is learned how to type, look at it, delete, and never send. Because there are times when you just need to be the bigger person. There are times when you might be so right and they might be so very wrong. But what's more important to you? Oh, are you still there? Okay, great. What's more important to you? Being right or being a leader? How many times in one of your coaching groups has a coach said something and you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. And you immediately want to react. You can't do that. My coaches will tell you I've become known as Dear Danielle. And that took time because I have now learned to see the bigger picture. And you guys, I still have to vent. You know, poor Darren here sometimes, right? I have to tell him stuff that he doesn't even care because I need to vent to somebody. But I have now learned that I've got to step up as a leader. And even if I don't like what somebody posts, I got to think about how to handle it. So a lot of times, you guys, within our own coaching groups, you know what the answer is? If somebody posts something that you don't like, delete it and then send them a private message. You know, when I was an elementary school teacher, one of the things that we learned is you always praise in public and you, now I'm going to forget the word. You praise in public and you something in private. What's the word I'm looking for? It's another P word. Somebody will think of it, right? But you get the point, right? So you never want to correct. Maybe it's just correct. You praise in public and you correct in private. And that's true, right? So if I was teaching elementary school, oh my gosh, you guys, we did so amazing on that multiplication test. I'm so proud of you. But I would never, ever go, oh, Johnny, you did it again. You went ahead and got an F on this test. I can't believe it. Right? But I might pull him aside and go, Johnny, what's going on? I see that you failed yet another test. I can't help you if you don't tell me you need help. So let's talk about it. The same is true in your coaching groups. So somebody posts something that you don't like, delete it and then send them a private message. Hey Jane, I see that you posted how much you really hate coach relations. I'm so sorry you're having a negative experience. Tell me exactly what happened and let me see if I can't find a way to help you resolve it. But just know this, you are our #1 advocate for our customers. So for right now, I just need you to slap on a happy face and I promise we'll deal with it together. That's your job as a punish in private. Letty, thank you. Those are my teachers. I knew it was another P word. So that's your job as a leader, is to praise in public and punish in private. It's your job as a leader to think before you speak, to think before you react, to take a moment and pause, and to really see the bigger picture. Really think about the bigger picture. Let me give you an example. And this is like a real life example. Let me give you a big picture to think about. Okay, so July 27th, the day before Summit officially starts, the challenge packs for Country Heat supposedly will launch. And those supposedly will launch around, noon Central Time. So at 12:02, your coaches are freaking out. They can't sell a challenge pack. Oh my God, the website's going down. Pandemonium is breaking out because at 12:02, you guys, people cannot get Country Heat. What the hell? Life is coming to an end. Really? Let's look at the big picture. The big picture is that whether somebody buys Country Heat at 12:02 on July 27th or whether they buy it August 3rd at 4 p.m., it doesn't really matter. As long as they find a workout program and they stick to it and they get healthier and they join you on your quest for being healthy. Doesn't matter. So bigger picture is, who cares if at 12:02 it was supposed to be ready and it's not? Life will go on. They'll still buy Country Heat. If they wanted it and they were really ready to start, does it matter if they're going to buy it at 12:02 or 12:10? But your job as a leader is to not join the crazy train, right? And I got a little bit off track because I'm kind of talking about social media, but these are the things that I see on social media all the time. Because social media, you guys, isn't just your public Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube. Social media is what goes on behind the scenes in your groups as well. Because I want you to know, I don't care if that group is secret, double secret. The minute you post something, even if you delete it 2 minutes later, somebody could have screenshotted it, snapped it, took a picture, whatever. What you put out there is permanent. So make sure you're proud of it. I want you to think about that for a minute. What you put out there is permanent, so make sure you are proud of it. So whether it's in a secret group or whether it's on your public profile, you need to think before you react and think before you speak, because that's what leaders do. Being a leader isn't easy. Do you think sometimes I want to just go, ugh, man, I wish, Country Heat was ready at 12 like they said it was? Sure, I get frustrated. But bigger picture as a leader is I have to set the tone for everyone that follows me. And so I can't react like that. I've got to think, I've got to pause, and I've got to make sure that what I put out there, I'm proud of, because I don't want that to come back to me. And I know you've heard the saying before, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. Well, if I'm negative, then that just kind of like keeps getting more negative and more negative and more negative. It's like the telephone game, right? You start out with one saying and it just keeps getting watered down until eventually it's something different. Well, the same is true with energy. And so whatever your energy is as a leader, it just kind of keeps getting less and less and less and less and less until that very last person is kind of a reflection of where your energy started. I use this example with instructors as well. I say, as a Group X instructor, if I give 100%, my class gives me 50. So as an instructor, I have to give them 200% in order for them to give me everything they've got. And the same is true of your leadership as well. So when you're out there on social, whether it's publicly on your public profiles or whether it's within groups that it's a little more private, I really want you to think before you react. And remember, what you put out there is permanent, so be proud of it. You've got to be a leader on social media. Think about what attracted you to whoever signed you as a coach. It wasn't because they were, out there ranting and like seeming like a complete lunatic and not seeming really even. I bet you even just like the people you follow that aren't Beachbody related, there's like this calming factor about them. Even Tony Robbins, as high energy as he is, right? Like there's this kind of calming factor where you just know that he's going to be really thoughtful and purposeful in everything that he says and he does. And that's what a leader is, okay? So I want you to think, when you post, think before you post. Like, for goodness sakes, right? You're in charge. You're in charge of clicking publish. You're in charge of clicking tweet. You're in charge of clicking send. So think before you do that. And you know what? Let me just give you a very real example. So all the like stuff that's going on in the world right now, it's like super crazy. And when it came to Dallas, in my own hometown, it felt awkward one morning to, just start my day with like a normal workout. And so I tried so hard to come up with something that was just like really like could not be seen, one way or the other. Just like wanted to put a message out there, like whatever. I had to take it down because it wasn't necessarily even what I said. It was just the bickering of the people underneath. And what I realized is, as a leader, did it make me feel good to want to say something about my city? Yes. But is it worth the turmoil it was causing amongst the people who follow me? No. So I deleted it. And it was interesting because someone who follows me, also a friend of mine, she messaged me on Facebook and said, "I'm so sorry that you are not allowed to mourn publicly for your city." And I wrote her back and I go, "It's okay. It's part of the sword I bear as a public figure, and it is more worth it to me to not have people bicker who are my followers than for me to make a statement." So as a leader on your social, and again, not telling you can't be controversial, not telling you can't talk about things that really matter to you. I'm just saying, think before you post, and remember that what you put out there is permanent, so make sure you're proud of it. I feel like we should write that down. I feel like that's a really good little one-liner quote there. But how you're perceived on social translates to how you are, a leader within your family, translates to how you are a leader within your community, which translates again into how you're a leader within your own team, okay? All right, so let's go into the last one, and I really feel like this one is the most important, and that's be a leader when nobody else is watching. And I really can't state it more simply than that. Leadership it should be like part of who you are. It should be part of your DNA, and you're going to continue to grow. And like I said, I'm not a perfect leader. I still have so much room for growth, so many areas of opportunity, so many things to work on. But what I do try to do, and I still grapple with it, is to be a leader when no one is watching, which means it's not about social, it's not about my family, my community, it's not about my coaches, it's not about anything. Seriously, you guys, it is about me just being a leader because it feels good, and that's who I am, and that's who I want to be right down to the bottom of my core. So I'm going to be a leader when nobody is watching. Meaning, I don't need to put out there that I picked up 3 pieces of garbage today while I was on a walk on my social media, because it doesn't matter. I didn't do that for social. I didn't do that to be seen as a leader within my community. I did that because I'm a leader when no one's watching. And so I really want you to think about that as you go about your day. Are you a leader because you feel it deep down in your core, because it's part of who you want to be? Or are you simply doing it because you're hoping to build a better business, or because you want to be seen a certain way? And I know that that's not any of you. I know it's not. But I really want you to pause, and I want you to think about that. Are you a leader when no one's watching? Does it matter only because it matters to you in your heart of hearts? And you guys, if you follow through with that, if you are just a leader when no one's watching because it's core and essential to who you are, then you will be the most amazing leader to your team. Reaching goals will be like this. Because again, it doesn't matter. You could pick monkey your face off. That doesn't make you a leader. And you can set up every single group and training you want to. Doesn't make you a leader. But if you're a leader because you feel it deep down in your soul, then the people who follow you will go wherever you go. And whether that's elite or 2-star, 5-star, or superstar, or whether that's just you crushing Success Club, they'll do it because they believe in you, they believe in your leadership, they believe in your mission, and that's it. You know, it's funny, when I first got into the wall, that group for 5 stars and above, I started to really question my leadership skills, because one of the things that people do in there is they share best practices, and a lot of those best practices are graphics related, and I'm just not super into that. Like, I don't create a ton of graphics, and so I started to question myself, like, oh my gosh, so I don't have that graphic. Does that mean I'm not as good of a leader? And oh my gosh, look at her and all these like calendars and things, and does that not make me a better leader? And if you're like graphic happy, that's amazing. That doesn't mean you're not a leader. I'm just using this example because it relates to me. And then I think it was a call with Doug one day where he told me, Danielle, none of that matters. None of that matters. He was like, you be you, and your people will follow. Your people and your team will follow. And I think that that's true. On my journey from, 9-star to superstar, it was really, once I made that connection of like, okay, we deserve this. We are going to do this. And it was simply a mindset shift for me and the team. And I didn't create extra groups, and I didn't create like all these extra graphics. Like, it was just a mindset shift. And I think that that's something that all our leaders have shared. Not one of them came on here and said, okay, we're going to talk about leadership today. So what we're going to talk to you about is how to make the best square image on PicMonkey using all the free tools and text images available to you. Interesting. That wasn't a call. And yet, all the personal development I do on leadership, I haven't once seen a book that says, how to improve your leadership skills, put together more groups, and really stress out your coaches. Because guys, seriously, if y'all put me in one more group, I may just scream. Like between groups and messenger strands and text messages, and it's like, if you put me in one more group, I may just quit. And so it's not about groups, and it's not about graphics. It's about heart, hustle, and being a leader when no one else is watching. So, that was exactly 30 minutes. So that's what I have to say about that, but I don't need to get off for another 15 minutes. So if you have questions or anything that you want to say, then I would love to answer those. Oh, I do want to give you an assignment first. So wait, don't ask me a question yet. Okay, so your assignment is, number 1, is to think of some things in each of those areas that you could be doing better or differently to improve your leadership skills. So number 1 is, how can you be a better leader within your community? Come up with 3 examples. So like I said, it could be, saying hi to more people, picking up trash when you're walking around. It could literally be having less road rage if that's what it is for you. Number 2, pick out 3 ways you could be a better leader within your family. Maybe it's more patience when your kids are screaming. Maybe it is, not keeping score between you and your husband on who did the dishes more. Come up with 3 ways that you can be a better leader on social media. So maybe that's to really not react to other people's posts, or, sometimes like I'll see somebody post something and then somebody will jump in and I'll want to like save the other person, but I don't know, that's not always best because it's not my place to butt in. So just come up with some ways that you could be a better leader on social. And then finally, what could you do differently to ensure that you're being a leader when nobody else is watching? Because I guarantee you, if you work on all those areas, then coaching, not a problem. Your team is literally going to feel a difference with you because it's no longer forced. It's no longer you going, okay, well, in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, John Maxwell said that I have to do X, Y, Z, right? Those are just tips that help you, and you should absolutely read books like that. But it's not like a step-by-step system. It's these things that you should inherently feel and constantly practice. When you constantly practice them, then your coaching team is like, man, I don't know why, but the energy on the team is so different. I want to do and be whatever it is that he or she is doing. So that's kind of your assignment, and I'd love for you to, think about those things, write it out, and post it within the group just so we can see. And if you're like, nope, got it, handled it, on it, I'm a perfect leader, then you can share that too. Okay, so I'll take a couple of questions if you have it. It can be about this topic, it could be about something else, but I have a few minutes, so feel free to ask me anything if you've got questions. I'll just sit here politely and wait and smile. Maybe I'll have a sip of water while we see. How do you handle the negativity that surrounds you? You know what? You can choose to let negativity bring you down, or you can choose to rise above it. And that's what I do. There's always going to be negativity wherever you go, whatever you do, no matter what. So you just have to choose to rise above it. And it's kind of that same idea of, a leader literally has to rise above. And so if there's negativity around you, then you're almost so positive it hurts, right? You've heard that old saying like, oh gosh, how does it go? You can charm more bees with honey than sugar, or you know the saying I'm talking about, right? So it's kind of the same thing. So you know what? If people are negative, I'm just going to keep on smiling because it's not me. It doesn't affect me. And that negativity doesn't come into my home. And if it does, you fix it. I had that and I changed my situation. You're in charge of you, and so you're in charge of the negativity that you let infiltrate into your life. So I remember you were just a baby coach. Barbie, it's so funny because in my story, and I didn't write it in there, you were one of the people who I was like, oh my God, if she can do it. I will never forget. Tony Horton came to Dallas and he was like doing a book signing tour or something, and I waited in line and I was like, oh my God, that's Barbie. She's like a really big coach. I remember thinking that like you were the cat's meow, which I still do. But yes, I looked up to people like you and I thought if she can do it, maybe I can too. And so you were always one of my number one inspirations. I'll never forget too, the first time you asked me to be on one of your team calls, I literally geeked out. I was like, holy crap, Barbie asked me to be on her call. That's like, I'm basically legit. Like I could stamp legit on my forehead now. Getting that email, a coach in your downline, recruiting tip. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Maria, can you elaborate? So, yeah, I need you, do you mean like when somebody's canceling? I'm not sure I understand that. So, please elaborate so I can answer your question. Yeah. So, no more questions? I'm just going to wait till Maria elaborates because I'm not sure I understand her question. Balancing motherhood and work. Oh my gosh, it's such a great question, and it's going to be different for everyone. So my kids are 15 and 10, and it's funny though because you always hear coaches say, oh my gosh, like I have babies, it's so hard. I'm like, just wait till their schedules are busier than yours. Wait till they have choir and volleyball and they can't drive and they've got friends and all these things to go to. And like then literally I'm just like a taxi. I think the best day of my life was the day that the girls were still in school. I had like a hair appointment in Fort Worth and it took a really long time. And so Darren had to kind of like play dad, and he had to like pick them up, take them to volleyball, like get them to a bunch of different places and cook dinner. And I walked in the door and he just looks at me and he goes, I don't know how you do it. I haven't sat down. And I was like, yeah. But I balance motherhood and, and leadership and running this team probably just the same as anyone else, the best I can. And some days I get it way right, and some days I screw it up. So what I do know is I try really hard now to create a schedule where, phone calls and things happen during the day, a little harder in the summer, right? Because the kids are home. But during the school day, during the school year, like work needs to get done from the time they're at school until the time I pick them up, because the evening is all about getting them fed, getting them to volleyball, making sure their homework is done, etc. So, setting business hours for yourself is probably the number one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is let them know what's going on and what your goals are and why you're doing what you're doing. So when I was going for Superstar, it was on the refrigerator, and we knew that that's what we were working towards, and that, mommy might be working a little bit more than normal. So it's also okay to include your children in your goals, to include your husband, to include your spouse in your goals, because they're just as much a part of it, and they're going to reap the benefit just as much as well. So but for sure, creating a schedule and really sticking to it. And, so Monday nights are my team calls. And so they know, hey, Mom, it's Monday night, so you have your team call tonight, right? So also letting them know your schedule so that they understand, okay, once my team call is done, then you totally have me, but I need for this hour to handle my call. So just being really, really specific, creating hours, and then letting your family know those hours so that it's not a surprise to them. The email, coaches quitting, keep them, and recruiting. I wish you could just ask me a question. If you're saying, what do I do when I get those emails about a coach quitting? Nothing. You know what? Some people reach out to them. I don't. You want to leave? Bye, Felicia. I literally don't even read them. I delete them. Because for me, if you don't want to be part of my tribe, I don't need you there. And I'm not trying to save you. I'm not trying to stop you. And that might be wrong, but that's how I handle it. I legit have zero, every time one of those emails come in, I don't even open it. I immediately delete it. Because for whatever reason, you don't want to be a coach. I'm not going to stop you. Maybe you can't afford it. Maybe you don't like it. But why am I going to hunt you down and try to force you to stay? I'm just not. And so obviously you gave that thought. I don't think anyone goes, I'm going to, just screw it. I'm just going to send this in. It's no biggie. So I think the person gave it thought. And, 9 times out of 10, it's a person who has been inactive, since Jump Street. And they really just did it for the discount. And they, so I, literally could give 2 flying flippy doos about those emails. I don't care. It doesn't stress me out. Honestly, you want to know what I like it for? It's like cleaning out your closet. Good. Bye. Don't need you. You don't want to be there? Fine. So don't stress about those coach quitting emails. It's legit the best thing that could happen to your business, because you want to surround yourself with people who want to be there. Work with the willing. I know you've heard that. So if they don't want to be there, I'm not trying to force you to stay. It's when you were in high school and a boy wants to break up with you, it'd be like you going home and you're like, no, please don't break up with me. Please, that's desperate. So nope, I'd rather recruit new people who do want to be part of my tribe, and those people can, adios, peace out. What time is it? Okay, we have 4 minutes, and then I really need to go and prepare for my next call. This is fun. My heart drops when that happens. Girl, you'll get used to it. I remember in the beginning, a coach would quit, and it was basically they cut my toe off. I just was so sad. But the more you realize that, again, this isn't for everyone. It's not easy for everyone, and not everyone you start with will be the people you finish with. And as you grow as a leader and as you become better, you'll start to attract the right people, and less people will quit. I really feel the more I'm growing, the more I attract the right people, and those people stay. And, the people who I maybe recruited earlier on just weren't the right fit for where I'm at now. They just can't handle all that much awesomeness, and so they need to leave, and that's okay too. Any other questions before we peace out? But this is our last call together. It's very sad. Kind of bummed. These have been really fun. So I hope you took value from this. Favorite PD on confidence leadership. I don't have a favorite, I just keep listening. So reading for sure, but now my jam is podcasts and Audible. And the only thing that goes on in my car is either Audible or a podcast. And I don't have a favorite. I have a list, and I probably need to update it. But if you go to iamfitandfunky.com/favorites, right? Is that right? Do I have podcasts on there? He didn't listen to me. So iamfitandfunky.com/favorites. I have podcasts and books listed on there that are my favorites, and I believe he categorized it. So that makes it super simple for you. And right now I'm actually like listening to It Starts With Food, which I've read like 3 times, but I wanted to listen to it also. And so you're like, oh, that's not about leadership. Yeah, but I'm also in the health and fitness industry, and you as a coach are too. So I like to also listen to health and wellness books because as a leader, I need to be well-rounded. And then, of course, I listen to Shalene because, she's the bomb. And I love all, John Maxwell. And I just, I just bought a bunch of books on Audible too. And I love The Power of Habit. I love anything Darren Hardy. I mean, there's just so many. But if you go to iamfitandfunky.com/favorites, and then he's got it separated into sections. So there's a podcast section, and then there is a book section. And I may need to look at it and see if I need to add some things that I've listened to or read recently. But that's a really easy place for you to find it. But, what else is really cool about Audible and podcasts too is you want to talk about like learning through osmosis. Put it on while your kids are in the car. Like, who says they need to listen to, I'm all about that bass. Speaking of, though, she's coming to Allen Event Center the day we come home from Summit, so my kids and I are going to see her. But they don't have to just listen to music. They can listen to personal development, too. Start them young. Shoot. Thank you for putting the website. Yay. That's my favorites list. So, all right, 1 minute. Anything else to say before I close this out? Okay, cool. Well, you guys, thank you. To kind of summarize leadership, the next level beyond just coaching, I want you to be a leader in all aspects of your life, not just for your business. I want you to be a leader within your community, within your family, on social media, and most importantly, when no one's looking. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.